is clean. This is my city, yeah, this is my
Hello everyone and welcome back to Car and Bike. I'm Bilal sitting in the new gen BMW X3. Now this 4th generation X3 was first showcased at the Bharat Mobility Expo earlier this year and it was launched as well. And today we are driving it. But do you know that the X3 it's one of the highest selling BMW globally? In fact, 40% of the China sales for BMW comes from this very mid-size SUV, which isn't exactly a mid-size anymore. So in this video, you and I will be taking a deeper look at this new generation X3. We'll talk about its design, the cabin, the features it offers, and obviously how it is to drive. And we'll also discuss whether or not should you buy this X3 over its direct rival, the Mercedes-Benz GLC and the Audi Q5. So you know the drill. Before we go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to the Car and Bike YouTube channel if you haven't already.
play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm champion.
So let's begin with the exterior design first, and there's a lot to talk about here. So let's take all the elements one by one, shall we? And we have to begin with this grille. Now, of late, BMW grills have been talk of the town and not for good reasons. But that's not the case here because look at this new X3, it carries a grille which isn't too large and it has a proper dimension which matches the overall fascia. More importantly, it has a very unique design to it, vertical slats and inlays. And it is also illuminated like all the modern electric BMW grills are, which gives it a very modern appeal. More importantly, the functional air intakes are hidden away. So again, it looks really like an EV here. But more importantly, one of the most interesting elements that I find here around this grille is the way how the bonnet is shaped into the grille. Now, this same design was seen in proper M cars like the M3 and M4 with those large nostrils, but they look really subtle and really good around here. Overall, you have this large bumpers with not a lot of creases and drama, but they still look quite stately. Move to the headlamps, and these headlamps are newly shaped and they have twin barrels running around. More importantly, this twin barrel design, it is quite chunky on the inside and it still looks like it is stuck in a concept stage, which is a good thing because it looks modern and it gives you a hint that it belongs to a proper BMW Vision family. There are intakes, functional air intakes for the radiator lower down, but overall this fascia, it's modern looking and it's still quite subtle. Now let's move on to the side, but before we do that, let me tell you that both the powertrain choices that are available with the new X3, both are available with the M Sport package as standard. So what you get is an M badging on the side and sportier kit all around, which also extends to this 19-inch alloy wheels. Now, more importantly, I'm a sucker for well-designed alloy wheel. And this one, it's right up there. More importantly, it is wrapped up in BMW has replaced actually the run flat tires with now tubeless tires with a 50-section profile. Now, that is done to improve the ride quality, but more on that later when we drive the car. But you'd also be happy to know that the new X3, it's bigger than the outgoing model. It is wider by 29 mm and longer by 47 mm. The wheelbase is also increased but only by 1 mm. But more importantly, the new X3, it's bigger than the rivals, the GLC and the Q5. And then we move on to the back, but let me tell you again that the previous generation X3, I was a fan of the 3D elements of the tail lamp. They used to jut out of the bodywork and they really look good and modern. Now on this newer layout, these tail lamps, they are more integrated into the body. More importantly, the overall profile of the new X3, it reminds you of the bigger sibling, the XM. There's a line that runs in the center or the belt line. Lower down, there is a chunky body kit of the rear bumper, but more importantly, there is no visible exhaust tips over here. I love the way the lower bumper is designed because it looks quite funky and modern and quite sporty as well. The roofline, it has a roof-mounted spoiler with a double bubble effect, and overall, the new X3, this angle is a good one to look at it. Now there are 4 color options for the X3 that you can buy in India right now. You have this all black which looks quite mafia. There's also white and blue which looks subtle and good. But there's also a flagship new color that's called Dune Grey. Now we saw it at the Expo and it is quite a unique color. Now you tell us, our dear viewers, which color would you like to see the X3 in your garage? Or also let us know in the comments What do you think about the design of this new Gen X3? Is it better looking than before, or is it better looking than its competition? Do write down your opinion in the comments. Now, after the exterior, let's talk about the cabin of the new Gen X3, and there's a lot to talk about here as well. But the first thing I want to address is how spacious the entire cabin feels. Now, the increase in dimension makes the cabin feel more airy and more spacious, and there's more space to move around over here, especially compared to the older model. Now, second thing is the design or the way the entire cabin is laid out. Now, admittedly, of late or a few years ago, BMW cabins were a bit more monotonous and they were devoid of feelings and emotions, because if you have seen one, you have seen them all. That was the way BMW used to design their cabins. Now, that's been changing now. Okay, you would admit that this curved display is very similar to all the displays that you get in a modern day BMW. Even the steering wheel is carried over from all the new, even the EVs have the same similar steering wheel. But look closely and spend some time over here and you'll realize that this X3's cabin is more modern than any other cabin that BMW has made so far. Firstly, you would notice that this dashboard, it's cut in and then there's an extension sent out to the door pads. Even the layout of this extension on the door pads, it's quite unique. It has a air vent on it. There's a LED bar surrounding it, and the way the door handle is integrated into all of it, it's quite artsy. More importantly, it has an X3 badging on it. So the passengers over here, they know they're sitting in an X3 and not a smaller X1 or the bigger X5. Next up, we talk about this again, the LED bar on the dashboard and on the center console. Now this one, this illuminated bar, it has a very unique lighting signature. I don't know how BMW has designed it, but it looks very modern and very artistic. Similarly, the center console, it has a large pen canister, which BMW likes to call jewelry bin. Now this jewelry box, it is a very apt name in my opinion, because firstly it has a lot of space around it. It has cup holders with illumination, and there's a wireless charging pad which is vertically stacked. You can also stack another phone beside it, and the background of it, it mimics exactly the same lines, the horizontal and the vertical lines that you see on the front grille. More importantly, this being an M Sport version, it has a big M logo in the center, which is a bit of a brag in my opinion. The rest of the center console, it's very familiar to what you get in normal BMWs these days. You also get a large armrest with good storage underneath, and the seats, it has a leatherette upholstery. But I would like to bring your attention to this new material that BMW has used all around the dashboard. Now this, I don't know what BMW likes to call it, but this rag-like material, it is rough, it is unconventional, and I have seen it only in one other car, the Mini Countryman EV, again from the same parent company. Now this one, it is modern, and I would like to say that I am not a huge fan of wood and leatherette feeling in a modern day car. Now these materials were fitting for older cars, but now in modern day cars, you need to have modern materials, right? And this is one new direction that BMW is following, and I quite like that. It is not exactly soft, but it has a character to it. It has some ruggedness, it has a rough feeling to it, and I quite like it. And it will also be better feeling compared to a leatherette material that you get lower down. Now talking about the second row, firstly I would like to address this particular thing, because the door, they do not open quite wide. Secondly, the space you get here to enter inside the second row, it's not a very wide space. So getting inside, now the front seat is set to my driving position, it's not all the way back. And the space on offer is not a lot actually. Despite the bigger cabin, the wheelbase hasn't increased, so the legroom isn't a lot. You do get a ample amount of headroom over here, especially helped with this large panoramic glass roof. It does not open, but it does give you a sense of airiness. Now the seats in particular, I would like to address that it is quite upright for my liking. The contours at the back though, this contours, it does support your back quite nicely. You have folding armrest over here. There's a dedicated third zone AC for the rear passengers, which is a good thing, and dedicated 2 USB ports as well. Now the extension on the door pads of the dashboard that we saw up front, it is also given over here, where exactly your door handles are placed. There's also a badging for the Harman Kardon sound system. More importantly, the space at the back is the only issue that I find with the X3 second row cabin. And there's also one thing that I would like to complain about is the quality of material used here. Now this one, it is a very expensive SUV. It has gotten a bit expensive. It's costing 75 lakh rupees ex showroom before the taxes. So for that price, you expect a bit more luxury at the back. You also expect a good quality of material. Now up front, it's good. It's admittedly for the price that you pay, it's good. But at the back, there's the hard plastic used in the seat back and the center console. It uses a quality of plastic which isn't fitting for this price tag. Now there's only one M Sport trim as mentioned earlier, and this trim has a lot of features as standard. This includes a heads-up display, 360-degree camera, ADAS, wireless charger and smartphone integration, a glass panoramic sunroof, memory function and ventilated front seats, inbuilt navigation, a 3-zone climate control and augmented navigation as well. And more importantly, BMW was thrashed for not offering a Sunline in the 5 Series. But here you do get one as standard. Also, the boot space of 570 liters is considerably less than what you get in the GLC. Now, unlike the previous generation X3, which came with the ballistic 30i petrol derivative, this one, the new generation X3, it only gets the 20i and the 20D. Oh no, wait. There's not 20i anymore, it's just 20 because BMW has stopped using the I suffix for their petrol derivatives. The diesel, they do get the D now. The 20i now, it gets a 2-liter 4-cylinder petrol engine which makes just around 190 bhp and 300 odd Newton meter of twisting force, and it can do 0 to 100 km per hour in 7.8 seconds. Now what we're driving here is the diesel, and I think it is a better choice of the two. Because it has the same 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel. The power output is just over 200 bhp and over 400 Newton meter of twisting force. This one is 0.1 seconds quicker than the petrol derivative. Now both the petrol and the diesel, it is paired with a 48-volt mild hybrid system as well as an 8-speed automatic. Now both the petrol and the diesel, they are both paired with a 48-volt mild hybrid system along with an 8-speed torque converter automatic. Now talking about the diesel that we're driving here, the spec sheet, it doesn't give you any indication of how good this engine really is. Firstly, you barely notice any noise or vibration or any of those diesel clatter. Secondly, there's oodles of torque right from the word go. Even the engine, when it's churning lazily close to an idle, it can potter around traffic without any hassle. But when you do need that diesel grunt, all it needs is a twitch of the right foot and you can easily hit triple-digit speed quite effortlessly. Now more importantly, this diesel engine, it's quite frugal as well. If driven judicially, you can actually achieve around 20 kmpl in the real-world condition. This is including city traffic and highway runs as well. Now, in the limited time that we had the car with us, we weren't able to do the mileage test or the fuel efficiency test with this one. But do you want to see a separate video or a separate highlight of us doing a real-world mileage test of the X3? Do let us know in the comment section below. Now, one downside of this X3 has to be its ride quality, especially at slow speeds. Of late, BMWs have become softer and well absorbent with a little trade-off that is the driving dynamics. Now this new X3, it goes back to its roots and comes with a stiffly sprung suspension setup, which does get a bit uncomfortable at slow speeds when driven hours to an end. Even on plain roads, you do feel the little waves and irregularities inside the cabin, and when there are not so good road surfaces around, the passengers are ungracefully thrown around inside the cabin. Now things does get better when the speed increases, but surely this stiff ride quality will be a bit of a deter for a few buyers out there. Now talking about the gearbox, this 8-speed torque converter is one of the best out there. In fact, BMW makes one of the good torque converters, so good that they actually employ it in their full-blown M cars, the M3 and the M4 for example. Now here in the X3, this 8-speed torque converter, it's really smooth. You can barely feel any upshift jerks or even a downshift, be it on slow speed or highway runs. And despite being an automatic, it does aid to the fuel efficiency of the diesel, as I mentioned earlier. Having said that, the driving connect is still a bit a miss. The diesel is good, no doubt, but there's no real excitement to the way it drives. There is a bit of a lack of drama, no punchy performance, and surely this overall combination feels like it's made to do office commutes and soccer practice runs rather than canyon carving. The steering is quick and direct, and it's nothing less than what you'd expect from a BMW. But I wish there was more powerful derivatives here. Now overall, after all its hits and misses, this new generation X3 is still a good family SUV which has a tad bit of inclination towards the driving dynamics, a little more than its direct rivals actually. And now finally we come to the pricing. This 4th generation X3, it costs 75.80 lakh rupees ex-showroom for the petrol, and add 2 lakh rupees for this diesel then. And that's X5 categories from a few years ago, right? Well, to justify this new price tag, the new generation X3, it is definitely an improvement over the outgoing G01 generation. First up, it's properly modern, is spacious at least in the first row, and has loads and loads of features. There's also both powertrains on offer, petrol and diesel, both being a sensible choice as there's no ridiculous powertrain on offer yet, like the 40i or the 30D. Sure, this one is not as fun to drive as I would want it to be, but it still remains one of the best driver's car at this price point. Of the nitpicks, the quality of plastic could have been better, especially at this price point, and the second row space could have been better too, given that how much the X3 has grown. And even the ride quality, it is a tad bit stiff for everyone's liking. So if you are looking to buy a mid-sized luxury SUV, the X3, it comes across as a good driver-centric offering, which also has a wholesome packaging and a bit of a personality thrown in. And that's all from me in this video. Hope you liked it, and if you did, do hit that like button and share this video with someone who's looking to buy a mid-sized luxury SUV in a price of around 70 to 80 lakh rupees. And if you have any other questions regarding the X3 or anything that I didn't cover in this video, do write them down in the comment section below, and I promise we will address them all personally. And that's all from me in this video. This is Bilal signing off. Until next time.